This is Rap the News, and I'm gonna show you how the Spirit guides you into something that He want me to sound the alarm to the people. And so I'm sounding the alarm right now. This is a major alert. I do believe 100%. The sign of the major alert that is by the end of this month or next month, something should be hitting the earth. If it don't, then I'm off. And I don't mind being off. We don't have to be right. We only human. But I do believe I am receiving a major sign here. And so with that, let's get into it. The Spirit of God was telling me to redo the video because, and that was the blue moon video, because the blue moon was blurry at the end and the people wasn't getting the full effect of that video. And so I went to redo the video. I ended up finding better footage of the blue moon, and maybe I'm playing it right now. And then with that being said, I went and downloaded the other people's testimony again from their dream, and I went after that and laid down for a second. I said I'm gonna get a little bit of rest and then we're gonna go back to it. Exactly when I laid down, just a few seconds afterwards, the Spirit came back and says, go see when the new blue moon is. And I said, wow, I never thought about that. I'm thinking the blue moons in their dream is pretty much just the color of the moon that they're drawing, or it's maybe some blue planet or something, and it's not just the blue moon, but it's the actual date of the next blue moon. So the actual date of the next blue moon, I believe, was in October 31st. And then if you don't know the definition of blue moon, it's when 2 full moons happen in 1 month. So it's kind of rare. And so the first moon happens October 1st, and the next moon happened on the 31st. Okay, the next thing that the Spirit of God led me to is the month of Abib. In the month of Abib, the children of Israel was freed from captivity. And so when I looked up the month of Abib, this came up April. April is off. So according to the scriptures, that the Gentiles, the pagans, was going to change the times and dates. So all Hebrew calendars are off. And so they're going on the wrong calendar system anyway. And so the right calendar system is the lunar calendar system. The only people, fortunately and unfortunately, that kept the lunar calendar since the time of Abraham are the Ishmaelites. So when I go to the Ishmaelite site to get when is the first day of the month, the month of Abib, then they gave me a date. And the date was August 19, 2020. And that rang a bell. I said, wait a minute, August 19, 2020. Wait a minute. That's when we went into slavery. And then the 400 years was supposed to be up last year. Could we be 1 year off? Right? And so on their website, it had this. It says, according to Ibn Abbas, it was during Ashura when the holy prophet migrated to Medina and found the Jews, that's the Israelites, the Hebrews, were fasting during this day. And so it's true. During the month of Abib, or a lot of our holidays, we fast, right? And so I would say you should be fasting now, because we're getting ready to experience the Passover, and I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, if God wills. Hopefully I don't forget. To commemorate the day when Musa, which is Moses, parted the Red Sea to help the children of Israel escape slavery in Egypt. And so that day falls on August the 19th. There is no coincidence, people. There is no coincidence. So if the lunar calendar was kept from Abraham to now, then August 19th is the same day we was brought into captivity. And I'm just like, whoa. I'm sitting here supposed to be doing something about the blue moon, and it turned into the Exodus. That's not a coincidence.
So it starts off, I see this huge billow of smoke. It's like gray cloud smoke rising from afar off. And it looked like something had exploded, and it was still burning, like things were still burning in it. And I just looked at it, I said, whoa, what happened? I realized I was sitting next to my dad, and my dad said, oh, hundreds of people died. Those were trains that crashed. And then I said to him, again? Like it had happened before, either recently, either within the last couple months, or a few days, whatever. And my dad said, yeah, there'll be a lot of people upset at the public officials and the leaders for this one.
They were coming out of their houses. There were houses, scattered about, but there were Hebrews everywhere, congregating, coming outside like it was a festival or some sort of, a celebration or something, or a get-together, holiday, something. They were just meeting outside, and they were everywhere, and I kept hearing in my head, gather, 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 gather. So I knew it was like we were gathering together for either an Exodus or a rapture or something. But I'm thinking more like an Exodus. That's at least what I felt in my dream. And then, there were all kinds. There were a few Gentiles speckled about here and there.
It was like everybody. It was just all these black people, like different shades. It was a few Gentiles and heathens in the mixture of people.
But the brothers that are Hebrew brothers is usually preaching out on a corner, holding scriptures and stuff. One of them was there, and I was standing on this concrete, kind of like a stepway. You know how you have the steps? They start like 1, 2, 3 small steps, and then a stretch, and then they raise up like a platform for you to sit on. Well, we were kind of on one of those, and it curved, and I was on the end of it, and he was on the curve of it, and my wife, he was reading from the scriptures, and I heard him say, all of you who are in the north, the west, and the east, gather together in the south.
We was walking on the highway on 435, and everybody was going south. There was some people that were crossing over.
And I realized that maybe it was talking about this would occur sometime in late summer. My birthday is August 6th. So it maybe will occur sometime around there, or by the time food and birthday food and the cake and stuff will be eaten already. Maybe in mid-August, late August.
My dad started kind of grieving and mourning over the stuff of the world, like things that had been going on in the world, the kind of worldly issues, and he just started saying, oh man, it's gonna get worse and worse. And when August comes around, we're doomed. And I was like, August, huh? And he just kept saying it, August, man, when August gets here, things are gonna get really bad when August gets here.
We got to like the edge. For some reason we were close to the east coast, like where the water meets the land. But the land was dry, and we were crossing over. And these military men, this military man, he said, He said, come on. We can ready to kill them all. And back then I didn't know what it meant. And as he did, this huge angel just dropped out of nowhere. And his wings were, like each wing was probably the size of a 747 jet. He was humongous.
It was an angel, and he was spiraling. Then he just stopped right in midair. He was, you know, directly above us in the sky. He was still a ways off, but you could tell it was an angel, and he's just stopped in midair with the trumpet and blew the trumpet, and it was just like, oh man, that feeling got even stronger that I had, and you know, I just started to float out of the truck, and I could see, you know, sparse, you know, areas of the landscape. I could see other people, you know, rising up also, and it was very few where I was, but I could see everybody, you know, rising up, and I was just like, wow, and I started shouting, it's God, it's God, and it was just unbelievable.
So again, Hebrews, we could be totally out of here in 4 months. 4 months we can be in our land. And it does match the timeline of the Bible that says that we are going to be at rest. If you give it some thought. Okay, so watch this. If you look at the dreams that the girls had and you match the timeline, August 19, 1619 to August 19, 2020, it ends our 400 years of captivity. It really 100% seemed that way right now. The next blue moon that them girls had a dream about that caused all the destruction to happens on October 31st, 2020, which is what, 2 months after, right, we leave. So it said we was going to be in our land at rest, and then they was going to be famished and impoverished, and then they was going to come over and try to start a war with us, and then God was going to end the whole world after that. Look, Comet Atlas' closest approach to the Earth is on May 23rd. So something could happen right in between those times, right? Comet Swan's closest approach to the Earth is on May 12th, 2020. So watch this. Meteorites or comet pieces could fall to this Earth and be disastrous. People, like they said in their dream, is mad at the government, you know, in the midst of all this chaos. On August 19th to August 20th, we out of here. They telling everybody to stay in the house so they don't see us departing. This is Raptor News. Y'all tell me what y'all believe.